AEW Collision draws the lowest total viewership in show history as it goes head-to-head live with Friday Night SmackDown last week. Details and also the ratings the hour after for AEW Rampage on TNT. We've also got the ratings for SmackDown as it went head-to-head and actually improved in viewership against AEW Collision in comparison to last week. Johnny Gargano opens up on the possibility of CM Punk returning to WWE, and Gunther opens up about his desire to wrestle Brock Lesnar inside of a WWE ring. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling, and the ratings are in, and I don't think AEW Collision is going to be going head-to-head with Friday Night SmackDown anytime soon, because this experiment did not work out very well for AEW at all. They got absolutely smashed in the ratings by WWE, delivering the lowest total viewership number in the short history of AEW Collision on TNT. Let's start off talking about Collision, and we'll get into SmackDown. We'll also get into Rampage, all of which aired live on Friday night prior to Full Gear on Saturday. Now let's start off talking about Collision. The numbers are in for the latest episode of AEW Collision on TNT, and while Saturday night might be the night for fighting, Friday night certainly isn't for AEW. WrestleNomics is reporting that the November 17 episode of AEW Collision recorded 270,000 viewers. That is the lowest in show history. Now, this is down from the November 11 episode of the show, which recorded 396,000 viewers. Of course, that was live on a Saturday as opposed to live on a Friday. Now, the show went head-to-head with WWE SmackDown, which recorded 2.206 million viewers. We'll get to that in just a second. Furthermore, when it comes to the key demographic for AEW Collision on TNT, the show recorded a 0.08 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic. This is also down from the previous week's 0.11 rating. In terms of YouTube videos and YouTube views and things of that nature, the highest most viewed YouTube video at the time recording this video for AEW Collision on November 17 was Could Daniel Garcia Stop the Vengeful Redeemer Miro, with 152,000 views. Next came The House of Black's Buddy Matthews takes on the BCC's Wheeler Yuta with 137,000 views. Next was two of AEW's hardest hitters go one-on-one, FTR's Dax Harwood versus LFI's Rouge, which currently sits at 127,000 views. TNT champion Christian Cage plans to end Sting's career early at Full Gear, got just over 100,000 views, that being 103,000. Wardlow's Path of Destruction continues on AEW Collision, brought in only 81,000 views. Now, for comparison, the show it went head-to-head against was, as I mentioned, Friday Night SmackDown on Fox, and many people expected SmackDown to comfortably defeat AEW Collision, but actually SmackDown improved in terms of viewership this week. Now, WrestleNomics is reporting that WWE SmackDown on November 17 recorded 2.20 million viewers in final viewership numbers. This is up from the November 10 episode, which recorded 2.195 million viewers. Furthermore, Friday Night Show recorded a 0.62 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic on Fox. This number is also up from the November 10 show, which recorded a 0.57 rating. So, despite going head-to-head live with another primetime pro wrestling program, SmackDown not only increased in total viewership, but also increased in terms of the key demographic as well. Now, we did kind of have some preliminary numbers that came out over the weekend, actually came out on Saturday. They were according to Programming Insider. SmackDown on Friday scored, according to them, 2.23 million viewers in those preliminary numbers, which were also up from the prelims from last Friday. So actually, it was a slight drop from the prelim numbers to the total numbers, but it does go to show that the prelim numbers do give a rough and pretty close estimate as to what the final number is going to be. Now, as far as the YouTube videos for SmackDown, Cody Rhodes helps LA Knight repel Bloodline post-match attack is currently sitting at 312,000 views. Santos Escobar collides with the LWO, currently is at 298,000 views. Knight vows to make the Bloodline cease to exist is currently at 212,000 views. The Man joins the fight against Damage Control at War Games is at 199,000 views, essentially 200,000. And LA Knight battles Jimmy Uso is currently at 196,000 views. So very, very strong SmackDown and a very, very struggling episode of AEW Collision. But what about the show that aired after AEW Collision? Because it was a 3-hour block of AEW programming on Friday. You had AEW Collision from 8 to 10 live, head-to-head with SmackDown. And then once SmackDown went off the air, we had AEW Rampage, which of course does air in its usual time slots from 10 to 11 Eastern. Of course, this past Friday it was live because Collision aired right before it. And actually, it did see an increased viewership in comparison to Collision this week, maybe because people finished up with SmackDown and decided to watch some AEW instead. So we can actually have the ratings for AEW Rampage here on the screen. According to Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, AEW Rampage on Friday, November 17, drew 280,000 viewers. Now, this number is still down quite significantly from the 322,000 viewers the show drew on November 10. Now, that show was actually live, but still, it's down quite significantly, even though it didn't go head-to-head with any other programming, as it doesn't usually in that time slot. The show scored a 0.09 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic, which is also down from the 0.12 rating the show scored last Friday. However, it was 10,000 viewers more than AEW Collision across 2 hours. It was also 0.01 higher in terms of the 18 to 49 demographic as well in comparison to AEW Collision. So it actually did do better total viewership and a better key demographic rating despite only being 1 hour in comparison to 2. Now, it wasn't the only bit of AEW programming as well. Following that, there was an AEW Countdown on TNT, Countdown to Full Gear, which aired from 11 to 11:30. That drew 139,000 viewers, and in the 18 to 49, that drew a 0.04. But certainly, as I mentioned, not a good night when it came to AEW in terms of total viewership and the key demographic, as they were head-to-head against Friday Night SmackDown. Are you surprised by these numbers as to how low Collision was in comparison to SmackDown? It's the lowest, as I mentioned, total viewership number in show history, and they have gone head-to-head with WWE premium live events in the past on Saturday nights. This is the first time Collision's been on Fridays. What are your thoughts on this? What do you think it will mean for AEW? What do you think it means for WWE? And what do you think this means moving forward, particularly when there's been some rumors that potentially the pro wrestling schedule could get shaken up next year when we've got all of these different shows going to different networks, particularly for WWE? Let me know your thoughts, your takes, your feelings on it in the comments section below. Now, a couple of other things. Johnny Gargano has spoken about the potential return of CM Punk to WWE. If CM Punk were to return to WWE, one member of the Raw roster would be supportive of it as long as it helped the company. Of course, it's been nearly 10 years since CM Punk walked away from WWE the day after the Royal Rumble in 2014. Since then, the former 5-time WWE World Champion left the wrestling business completely for 7 years before returning to AEW in 2021. That AEW run for CM Punk saw him win their world title 2 times. He also had a lengthy injury absence and got into multiple backstage altercations, which led to AEW firing him with cause in September of this year. Since CM Punk left AEW, there's been a lot of rumors about what's next for the controversial star, who still has a lot of name value in pro wrestling, and he can still go in the ring and is regarded as an elite talker on the microphone as well. It's led to some people thinking that a WWE return could be in the works as well, since fans have seen other big names with controversial exits return to the company, such as Bruno Sammartino, Bret Hart, The Ultimate Warrior, among others. Johnny Gargano, who's currently a member of the Monday Night Raw roster in WWE, told the Battleground podcast that he would support CM Punk returning to WWE if it helped the company. He said, quote, "There are so many eyes currently on WWE television. Obviously, every little bit helps. I mentioned how Logan Paul has taken the United States Championship all over the world with him and getting new eyes on the product. At the end of the day, whatever is going to get more eyes on WWE television, that's the best move possible. Whoever that may be, whoever they bring in, whatever eyes they bring in, I'm all for it." Of course, the next WWE Premium Live event is the Survivor Series on November 25, taking place at the Allstate Arena in Chicago, Illinois. It's the city where CM Punk was born, raised, and still lives, so it's led to a lot of speculation that WWE was going to bring him back, and if they were going to do it, they could do it at Survivor Series for not only a WWE homecoming, but also just a hometown homecoming as well of Chicago. Now, while there's no official word on whether WWE will bring back Punk at Survivor Series or a later date, it is believed that the door is not completely closed on Punk returning to WWE. It's also been reported that WWE turned down CM Punk when he reached out to them, but it's also a situation that could certainly change as well. So Johnny Gargano, he'd be open to it. Finally, Gunther says he wants to face Brock Lesnar inside of a WWE ring, describing the Beast as his personal end boss. Gunther believes there is one match he needs to have in WWE to validate himself. Since winning the Intercontinental Championship back in June of 2022, the Ring General has become one of the most dominant stars in the company, really in modern history. After victories over the likes of Sheamus, Drew McIntyre and Shinsuke Nakamura, Gunther became the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time and has now surpassed over 500 days with the title. While there seems to be few wrestlers who can pose a challenge to the Austrian star, there is one man he is determined to face and prove himself against, that being Brock Lesnar. During an interview on Under the Ring, Gunther said the match would be unpredictable and explained why he needs to face his personal end boss. He said, quote, "You never really know what you get with Brock. It's definitely a match I want to have and I want to do. I feel Brock is somebody, I just make it my thing. I make him my personal end boss. That's the guy that at one point I have to step in the ring with to validate myself." Now, Brock Lesnar has admitted in the past that he wants the match to happen as well, but says it's up to the higher-ups to make it happen. Gunther, meanwhile, has made it clear that he won't entertain the idea of relinquishing the Intercontinental Championship to get to the World Heavyweight title. When asked about the possibility, the star explained that while he is determined to become the World Heavyweight Champion, it won't be at the expense of the gold that he currently wears. So, do you think we will see Gunther versus Brock Lesnar at some point? It was kind of teased in the Royal Rumble earlier this year as well. Could we see it at WrestleMania next year or possibly further down the line? Let me know your thoughts about that too. But there you go, guys. This latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.